Welcome to the Steel City, where we've got a great college volleyball matchup for you today as the Florida State Seminoles take on the No.8 team in the nation, the Pitt Panthers. Coach Chris Poole forced to put players in positions they're unfamiliar with, do things they've never done before. 9 different lineups used by the Seminoles this season, but they've been able to rely on 2 players that have been active in every match in Audrey Koenig and Emily Ryan.
And Emily Ryan, the transfer coming in this season, hitting at that 341 clip, leading the team. And then Koenig on the other side, averaging over 3 kills per set. Both of those players will need to be stellar today up against these Panthers, Jason.
Koenig, just a sophomore, leading the team in kills. Emily Ryan coming over from UCLA, a transfer in her first season with Florida State. And Coach Chris Poole fighting through adversity with this Seminole bunch all season long, but optimistic about the remainder of the season, and said if they can get some pieces back by the time November comes around, they could be a dangerous team heading into the postseason by the end of the year.
And Jason, he told us he just doesn't have all of the tools that he needs in his toolbox. There's a lot of great athletes on this Florida State team, but they're all playing out of position. So once you can get those right tools in the right spots, then this, like you said, this Florida State team could be very dangerous, just like we have seen from this Panthers team through the beginning of ACC play.
Panthers are a perfect 7-0 in the conference thus far. The No.8 team in all of college volleyball. We're underway at the Fitz, and the first kill goes to Valeria Vasquez-Gomez, who we've already told you about today.
And she had the first kill Friday night, so why not start it off just like she did all of last weekend, getting her first kill and the first point for the Panthers.
Vasquez-Gomez, the redshirt junior from Puerto Rico. 2.9 kills a set on the season for her, has really turned into one of the Panthers' top attackers throughout this year. Courtney Buzzerio has also been huge for Pitt this season. And the Panthers led by Dan Fisher in his 10th season at the helm here in Pittsburgh. Of course, last season took him to the first ever Final Four appearance that the Pitt Panthers have ever seen. 6 straight NCAA tournament trips. And Dan Fisher very confident in the way his team has played as of late. Says he's feeling as good as he's ever felt about their chances, and has a really deep bunch in this Panther group.
And that's the thing, the Panthers have so many players that as an opposing team in Florida State today, you never know where the offense is going to come from. It could come from Courtney Buzzerio, it could come from Serena Gray, it could come from Valeria Vasquez-Gomez. And then you have Juliana Dalton, the transfer, who the Panthers have relied on recently as well.
Florida State gets its first point of the match. Kill credited to Emma Clothier. This serve will come from Audrey Koenig. Fairbanks sets Buzzerio. A lot of speed on the attack from Buzzerio. Browski digs. Juliana Dalton on the kill for Pitt. And so far for the Panthers, their 4th point of the match, and 3 different players with a kill. Chris Poole, the head coach at Florida State, his 15th season. He is the 2nd winningest head coach active in all of Division I, trailing only Mary Wise over at Florida across the state. But what a career for head coach Chris Poole. And said despite all of the challenges this year with some new players on the roster, and Amanda, as you said, trying to have all of those tools available in his toolbox, but just hasn't had it yet.
And it's so tough as a coach because you want the best for your players, but when you can't put the best lineup out there possible, that it just doesn't help. And he said a lot of the players, like we talked about, Koenig, they have so much pressure on them because of all of the players that are out, that they need to perform at the very top level.
Kill there from Emily Ryan. Middle blocker, grad student from Bethesda, Maryland for Florida State.
And that's one of the players that they will need to be active early and often. Seeing here just going off of that block as the Panthers were too far to that far pin, leaving a lot of space there for Ryan.
Mentioned Emily Ryan, the transfer from UCLA, said that last season when the Bruins took on Wisconsin in the Sweet 16, she felt her story still needed to be written. She couldn't finish her career in that match against Wisconsin. Of course, the Badgers would go on to win the national title, and that story brought Emily Ryan here to Florida State.
And a team in their own right that made the NCAA tournament last year for the first time in a number of years.
Service error from the Panthers makes it 6-3. Should see both teams today running a 6-2. Panthers on Friday using Rachel Fairbanks and Cam Ennis as their two primary setters. Florida State likes to run the 6-2 when they can. Of course, with the injuries throughout the season, has been tough at some times. But the Noles earn the point there.
Now that pass a little bit too tight brought Cam Ennis under the net. And then the point going over to Florida State. Have to keep safety in mind, as when you have those players going under the net, it's very dangerous.
Ava Pitchford on the serve. She is one of two Florida State setters, joined by Angelia Droskovic. Point Pitt.
And Coach Poole was very happy to get Pitchford back. She just has lacked in practice time. He got the word on Friday night as we take a look at this play here, the great high swing from Serena Starks. But Pitchford, he found out Friday night before the match against Virginia that she was able to play, but she hasn't practiced in a couple of weeks.
And Chris Poole said that a lot of people look at the matches missed by these players without considering that in addition to the matches, you're talking about a week full of training, potentially multiple weeks of training that these players have also missed. In a lot of occasions, he has approached his trainer the day of the match and said, all right, who am I going to have today?
And just that cohesion with your teammates, knowing who's to your left in this serve receive, who's to your right, who's blocking next to you, who's hitting next to you, all of those things, and you get it during practice.
Chiamaka Wokolo, the attacker that time for Pittsburgh. She gets her first kill of the day. Already 5 Panthers with a kill in this first set.
And that was some cohesion from the Panthers. Beautiful pass, great set by Cam Ennis, and then the quick swing from Chiamaka Wokolo.
Wokolo will now serve. She's a 6'1" senior from Columbus, Ohio. Nearly a free ball there, given up by Florida State, and looked like it was Pitchford in the front row who tried to get a fingertip on it, but the Panthers earn the point.
And that's one of the disadvantages of the 6-2, as Pitchford cannot reach over the net to set the ball because she is in the back row, and that pass was way too tight to the net for her to be able to attempt to set it.
Attack that time came from Koenig, but blocked by Pitt. Serena Gray and Sabrina Starks on that right side for the Panthers. Such a tough duo to combat. Volleyball team have won 10 straight matches, including 2 over top 10 opponents. Ohio State and Georgia Tech also defeated BYU earlier in the season. And how about that, have not even had a 5-set match in that stretch. We talked so much about their dominance in the ACC. It's continued once again this season.
And an improved ACC as well, Jason. A lot of those bottom to middle tier teams have really improved, so it's a very tough conference.
Unbelievable effort by the Panthers on that play. Chiamaka Wokolo had an outstanding dig from the back row, and Pitt earns the hard-fought point.
The best rally that we've seen so far between these two teams, Jason, and an unfortunate unforced error with the ball being pushed out of bounds by Florida State.
Panthers have scored the last 4 points in this first set. And that time too much on the attack from Florida State. Off the wrist of Wokolo, and the Noles make it 11-6.
A really strong swing from the sophomore Sky Eakes, as she was able to go through that Panthers block and kind of stop a little bit of a run.
Sky Eakes coming off 10 kills Friday night against Virginia. Panthers go up 12-6, but it was a 3-2 loss to the Cavaliers on Friday night for Florida State.
And this is kind of an example of what I talked about earlier. You never know who can beat you when you're trying to face the Panthers. And Sabrina Starks quickly in this match has 2 kills already as she comes in off of the right side. And that after being a middle for these Panthers for the past couple of seasons.
Panthers with a 6-point edge. Serve came from Rachel Fairbanks. Front row dominance by Serena Gray and Courtney Buzzerio.
Audrey Koenig still searching for her first kill of the afternoon, just going up against the block of the Panthers, who have more height on this current team than they've ever had before.
Serve into the net from Fairbanks. It's the second serving error by the Panthers in the first set here. Mentioned it was a 5-set loss to Virginia on Friday night for Florida State, Amanda, but Chris Poole told us that in the second set, they had 3 or 4 set points, and ultimately that would have won them the match in 3 sets, because that third set they dominated, won it by 14 points. So even though at the end of the day Virginia got the win, Florida State, if you were scoring it as basketball or really any other sport, the Noles would have came away victorious.
And we see a great swing there, a little bit late on the block by Emily Ryan. But to go off your point, Jason, they actually led most of the statistical categories. They out-hit Virginia 285 to 197. So when you look at that, you think, okay, they probably won the match. But because of those unforced errors in those few key moments, they weren't able to pull out the 5-set match victory.
For Florida State, it's now on to Pitt and the top 10 team in the nation, that is the Pitt Panthers. And Dan Fisher having a conversation about the last Florida State point. As Panthers do have a 14-8 lead here in set number 1. Rachel Fairbanks sets Dalton. Juliana Dalton with her second kill of the day. She's a transfer from Washington State.
And a player who can really develop in this Panthers system, as she is a young player for the Panthers, coming in as a sophomore from Washington State, as you mentioned, and she has really picked up her game over the past few matches, now with 2 kills on the night.
Set that time went to Emma Clothier, but point goes to Pitt, well defended by the Panthers.
That said, a bit too far to that far pin, Jason, and then the swing going directly off, automatically out, and point over to the Panthers.
Serena Gray will serve again. Draskovic set to Ryan in the middle, and another Pitt point.
Take a look there. Ryan trying to go away from that block of Wokolo and too far to the outside.
So Florida State will take another TO, try and sort things out, down by 9 in this first set. The 18th all-time meeting between these two programs, with the Panthers leading the series 12-5. Florida State had the upper hand early on in terms of these two teams being in the ACC, but as of late, the Panthers, similar to just about every other opponent they've faced in the ACC, they have been so dominant in this series.
But it's crazy to think about. As we said, Florida State had a great year last year, made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. In the first round, they beat Kansas State, then they lose to number 10 Nebraska. But they're not a team that is just, you look at, oh, that should be an easy win for the Panthers. All of the teams in the ACC, as we talked about earlier, are a tough matchup. Like we talked about the matchup Friday night with Virginia, that Florida State, they thought going into it, okay, no matter who we have on the court, we think we have a good shot to win. But Virginia put up a big fight and was able to come out with the victory.
Yeah, and Chris Poole spoke very highly of the progress of the league as well, mentioned that Pitt, Louisville, and Georgia Tech, in his mind, are all teams that could make another deep run in this NCAA tournament, and for Louisville and Pitt, maybe make another trip to the Final Four.
And the biggest thing for those teams when you talk about it, Jason, is depth. And that's where Florida State is lacking a little bit because they have had so many injuries. You have some middles that have to move over to the right side, some left sides that have to go to the right side, or vice versa. A right side becomes an outside. And it makes it very difficult to create that cohesion that you're looking for at this point in the season. He said in the middle of October, you think that you would have kind of that idea of who's going to play, but unfortunately they don't, as we see an ace there from the senior Serena Gray.
Serena Gray finding some success at the service line for the Panthers. She has led Pitt to what is now a 4-0 scoring run in this first set. Serena Gray, graduate student, middle blocker from Temple City, California, transfer from Penn State. Back row attack, Vasquez Gomez. Knowles keep it in play. Gray out of system, outside to Dalton. Hit that one just a bit too long.
And Jason, you talk about Serena Gray coming over from Penn State, a team that Pitt beat in the NCAA tournament last season on their run to the Final Four. So you have to think that felt good for Serena Gray, taking a chance, transferring from Penn State to come here to Pitt, and then being able to beat them in the tournament.
And she had that iconic Serena Gray stare down that we'll never forget, Amanda.
Absolutely not. After a huge block against her former team in the tournament.
Panthers cruising in this first set so far, a 19-9 lead, led by Courtney Buzzerio. 4 kills for the Iowa transfer. No Florida State player with more than 1 kill in this first set. And an error in serve received by the Noles gives another point to Pitt.
And Jason, Coach Dan Fisher really challenged a lot of his returning players and even new players like we see Courtney Buzzerio, who are at the service line, with wanting them to be better servers. Courtney Buzzerio stands at 6'5", so she should absolutely be able to get the ball to have that downward spin like we just saw there on that last serve.
Yeah, gave another tough one to Florida State on that serve. It was Sydney Conley wearing 15 for Florida State who kept that one in the air. But well done by Buzzerio. Panthers now with a 10-point lead as the serve goes back to Florida State. Serve will come from the Seminoles setter, Ava Pitchford. And on the Panthers side, their setter, Cam Ennis, enters the match. And there is Ennis, sets Wokolo. Wokolo got up in the air for the kill.
It's so hard as a defense to try to go up against that. You get a great pass, then the quick set, and then you could see the late block there trying to go up was Corey Lewis, but no chance with how quickly that play developed.
Both of those Panther middles, Chiamaka Wokolo and Serena Gray, anytime either of them are on the court, so tough to defend. Kat Flood comes in to serve, but that'll mark the 3rd service error of the set for the Panthers. But if you're Pitt and you're Dan Fisher, have to think about the fact, okay, we've given them 3 points off service errors and still leading this set 21-11.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, you look at Florida State having 7 attack errors. So those are 7 points that they've handed over to the Panthers.
Ennis sets outside Sabrina Starks. Pitchford, Koenig, point Florida State.
That's a play that has to make Coach Poole happy as you get a good pass, the set coming over from Pitchford, and then Koenig coming up with the swing against that double block of the Panthers, going right through it.
26 assists for Pitchford on Friday in that 5-setter against Virginia. Vasquez Gomez on the attack, but did not graze a finger of Florida State. Makes it 21-13. Timeout taken by the Panthers.
And I think this is more of a teaching moment for Coach Fisher, showing, okay, you have this big lead, but you can never let a team get back in. You can't take your foot off the throttle. And someone who hasn't done that is Courtney Buzzerio. She has 12 consecutive games where she has over 10 kills, and she really picked up where she left off over the past few games. Just such a tall hitter that she's able to get over the top of most blocks, and also a very smart hitter as she's able to see over that block and find an opening on the other side of the court. And you see what she did Friday night, the 12 kills, hitting at a 370 clip against Miami, starting off here tonight with 4 kills on 5 attempts, just hitting an easy 800.
Yeah, Amanda, it's dominant what we've seen from Courtney Buzzerio, and we talked to Dan Fisher because that performance on Friday marked the 11th straight match where Buzzerio led the team in kills, and we said, do you want to see another player step up? Do you want to see another player lead the team in the kills category? And he said it keeps working, and she's getting better and better. He doesn't even want to know the player that she could turn into a month from now.
And she was a great player coming in out of Iowa as well. It's not like it was a player that was more of a role player, really just kind of fit in here and there. She was a very good player at Iowa.
Well, back in action here at the Fitz. First set, 21-13 lead for Pitt, and you can make it 22. Dan Fisher said if she continues to hit around 400 every match, let's keep setting her. And that's just what they've done. Already 4 kills today, which is leading the team. How about 20 at High Point earlier in the year? And as you said, Amanda, it's performance that she displayed in her time at Iowa and has carried it over here as a Pitt Panther. Looks like we're going to review this previous point as Florida State has challenged the call.
And so there was a touch called, so we'll be looking to see if it did in fact hit the fingers of Florida State.
So on that right side of your screen, Sabrina Starks on the attack. Blockers for Florida State were Audrey Koenig and Corey Lewis on this play. Again, officials said that it did touch Florida State's fingers. And if that is the case, it'll be Pitt points.
And that's happening right in front of that up ref, Jason. So he has a front row seat to be able to see that play. I think this will be a really good angle.
And I don't know about you, man. I don't really see any fingers move. But it does go by so fast, it's always tough to tell.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with all of these replays is the fact that we have to think about what was actually called on the court. So it was called a touch. Is there video evidence to show clearly that there was not a touch?
All right, and that's what makes it so tough. And it's rare, I think, Amanda, that you can clearly tell that it was not touched. So as you said, I think in cases like this, chances are there's no definitive evidence. They will probably keep it as a touch. Of course, we'll await the official's decision, but not sure if you see anything there that clearly shows that it was not touched.
I think definitely a play worth challenging, though. If you're Coach Poole, you look at your team is down a number of points at this point, and it's a big play to be able to swing it one way or the other. Maybe that momentum can go in favor of Florida State after something like this. So we'll see what that final call will be here.
And getting word that the call is going to stand. And so as we discussed, Amanda, just think that could be a play where there was nothing definitive in that video to overturn the call.
Trying to read the lips there of the referee as you look at the face of displeasure from Coach Poole, not getting the call that he wanted, also not getting, I think, the explanation that he wanted. But I think it came down to what we said. The call was a touch. I don't think there was the video evidence to show clearly that there was not a touch.
So a tough break for Florida State, down 9 points in this first set, and they lose a challenge that, of course, maybe could have been used later in the match in a closer set. And nonetheless, the Panthers earned that point and are now up 22-14.
But Florida State, credit what they were able to do coming off that next point. So you lose the challenge, you lose that initial point, but then you come right back on the next one and get a point there.
Ennis to the outside, Vasquez Gomez. Athletic dig by Perez. Panthers continue to pour it on.
Serena Gray might be one of the most explosive players on an overpass that you will see. If the ball comes anywhere near her over the net, she will absolutely slam it back down.
Rachel Fairbanks the serve, Pitt up by 9, set number 1. Crafty play by Sky Eakes to tap it over the Panther defense.
Beautiful spot. I mean, you have the double block up in front of you, so the sophomore Sky Eakes just going right over top of it into a hole in the defense in that far corner.
Fairbanks pops up to Vasquez Gomez. Draskovic to Ryan in the middle. Fairbanks, Vasquez Gomez once again. Browski this time to the right for Buzzerio. And point Florida State.
A great job up front of Florida State on that play, really putting pressure on the Panther attackers, not letting that ball come over, and that led to the error by Buzzerio trying to go over top of that Florida State block that had been stout throughout that point.
Fairbanks, Gray in the middle. Florida State gets the point. Looked like the Panthers had a double contact.
I think on that play, the ball actually didn't go over the net, so when it came back over onto the Panthers side, that was their 4th touch.
Fairbanks pops up to Vasquez Gomez, another one that almost went over the net there. Panthers get it back. Browski, now Fairbanks gonna set Vasquez Gomez, blocked by Florida State. Seminoles have some life in them here late in the first set.
Beautiful double block from Clothier and Ryan, and that was actually all Clothier on the right side. Great job getting on that hitting shoulder of Vasquez Gomez.
Emily Ryan, the leading blocker on Florida State. Once again, Ryan and Audrey Koenig on the left side for the block.
Take a look at this one. Just in perfect position, the offense of the Panthers not fooling that defense of Florida State, as you see Ryan with the 1 kill and 2 blocks.
Florida State currently on a 9-3 run in this first set, trying to climb their way back. But Courtney Buzzerio with another kill, her 5th of the day already.
And that's the player that the Panthers will always look to be their run stopper. Florida State really finding a rhythm there for the past couple of points, and then Buzzerio getting on top of that block with her 6'5" frame.
Set point for Pitt per tradition. Attendees in the fits are on their feet. Draskovic. Rachel Fairbanks to Buzzerio. Blocked and out of play. The Panthers take set 1. 25-19, the final in that first set. Remember the life of Monica Wignott, former student athlete here at Pitt. Her family in attendance. Monica tragically passed at the age of 29 due to a car accident earlier this calendar year in March, and got the chance to talk to Dan Fisher about Monica. He coached her for a year here with Pitt Volleyball and said that she was a fantastic athlete, but beyond that, a loyal teammate and a good person, and such a special moment for this Pitt volleyball program and the family of Monica before the match today.
And she actually was also a participant on the Pitt women's basketball team as well, and Coach Fisher said they went to one of her games, and he thought, okay, she obviously can jump high, she's going to be a rebounder, she'll get you, she's a gritty player, she'll get you those loose balls, but she was knocking down threes, and he was very impressed by what she was able to do for the Pitt women's basketball team as well. So a two-sport athlete here at Pitt, and such a tragic loss for the legacy of what she brought to Pitt volleyball and Pitt women's basketball as well.
Yeah, Coach Fisher said he approached Susie McConnell-Serio, who was the women's basketball coach at Pitt at the time, and said, hey, I don't know too much about basketball, but I know she's long, I know she's athletic, and as you said, Amanda, he knew that she could get a lot of rebounds, and he got to catch some of her gains and saw her draining those triples, and really, really special. The epitome of what you want to see in a student athlete. Was an all-ACC academic student athlete, Monica Wignott, in addition to playing 2 different sports in her time here at the University of Pittsburgh. And certainly a special moment before the match today to honor Monica's life with her family in attendance here as they watch this Pitt volleyball team, who got off to an excellent start, winning the first set over Florida State, and now Courtney Buzzerio up to 7 kills in this match, Amanda.
And that's the thing, they come here and they get to watch this amazing volleyball team that we're seeing. The Florida State Seminoles, though, Jason, actually were able to come back in that first set. So they went on a little bit of a run at the end, so we'll have to see if they're able to use that momentum a bit that they saw. And we see here a great swing coming in the middle from Emily Ryan. Just great offense, just going along that outside of that block attempt by Serena Gray.
And Amanda, you mentioned Florida State fighting back in that first set. I want to take us back to that challenge that Chris Poole attempted against Pitt, and was eventually a challenge that he lost. But at that point, Florida State was down around 10 points. And at the moment, we thought, you know, they don't have much of a chance in this set anyways. But turned out that they fought all the way back, and you wonder if that challenge had gone Florida State's way, would that have changed things in that first set?
It absolutely could have. Like we said, the call on the court was a touch, and didn't find any video evidence to show otherwise, so didn't go their way. But credit Florida State for being able to come off of that and go on a little bit of a run at the end of the first.
25-19 was the final in that first set. For the Noles, that first set has been all important this season. 11-1 when they win it, 1-5 when they lose it. And that one in the loss column when winning the first set actually took place on Friday night. They won the first set on the road in Charlottesville at Virginia, but ultimately lost the match in 5 sets. But the Panthers control set number 1 in this one today, and off to a 3-2 lead in set 2. Serena Gray getting the last kill.
And now we'll head back to the service line, where she's one of the team leaders in aces for this Panthers team. But there's the casual announcer's jinx as she serves the ball right into the net.
The 4th service error of the day for Pitt. Florida State has yet to make an error from the service line. Fairbanks sets Wokolo, Chiamaka Wokolo, her 3rd kill of the match.
We're starting to see that balance come into play for this Panthers offense. You have Buzzerio, who has typically led this team in kills, already with 8. But then behind her, Starks with 3, Wokolo with 3, Serena Gray with 3, Dalton following up with 2.
That makes for 6 different Panthers with a kill so far in this one. Sky Eakes' hit right into the top of the net for the Pitt point.
So those are the moments you see of just that inconsistency from this Florida State team, just not able to have that rhythm that they would like to offensively with using those 9 different lineups this season that we've mentioned so far.
Valiant effort there by Sydney Conley to try and keep that ball alive, but Courtney Buzzerio with the service ace for the Panthers.
And how about Buzzerio filling up the stat sheet, Jason? 8 kills, 2 aces, 1 dig, and 2 blocks.
All in a set and a half's work.
Yes, not even. Not even.
Unbelievable, the display from Buzzerio so far, as Juliana Dalton gets involved as well.
And you can see the congratulations from her teammates. More of a little bit of aggressive congratulations as they push her all over the court, but the beautiful single block there and the excitement from her Pitt teammates.
Dalton with a pair of kills, pair of blocks. So much balance on this Pitt roster, as we've talked about, but that time Florida State able to side out with Corey Lewis in the middle.
And that's what this Florida State team is really striving for, Jason. We talked about Courtney Buzzerio with those 8 kills, but on the other side for Florida State, they have 4 players each with 2 kills. So you don't have that player that you can go to, that you can lean on to be that offensive leader.
Juliana Dalton this time from the right side. Dalton starting to make her presence felt here in set number 2. She's got 3 kills and 2 blocks. And now serves, overpass, Wokolo on the capitalize.
That's so tough, again, to get anything going offensively when you can't get that first pass. You can see Wokolo waiting for that ball to come over the net. And because of that 6-2 offense that Florida State is running, Ava Pitchford cannot jump to try to set that ball.
Juliana Dalton adds a service ace to her stat sheet for the day. And all of a sudden, the Panthers breaking open this second set, up by 6. Cam Ennis set to Vasquez Gomez. Koenig again. Ennis has to send it over. Koenig, Vasquez Gomez, pancakes. Good effort by Vasquez Gomez and Ennis, but Florida State gets the point.
Beautiful dig there in the back row by Florida State to keep that point alive, and then such a smart play there from the sophomore Audrey Koenig, seeing that there was a hole behind that Panthers block, had the best opportunity to get a point right there.
Try Vasquez Gomez again. Once more, Vasquez Gomez with a bullet that's well dug by Florida State. Starks on the right side this time. Dalton, back row. Popped up by Perez. Outside to Koenig. Long rally here. Ennis, left side. Vasquez Gomez still in the air. Ennis right back to Vasquez Gomez. Touched over. Browski once more. And the Panthers take the long point here in the middle of set 2.
And we talked to Coach Fisher this week, mentioning the grit that his team has, and he said he likes to use the word stamina, and we saw that on display right there with that point. The Panthers continuing to be able to be the aggressor in that point and try and keep Florida State on their heels.
Yeah, he said, sure, we want to be gritty, but we want to be gritty over time. We want to have the stamina to be able to outlast teams on points just like that one. That's just what the Panthers did. And so far for Pitt, Valeria Vasquez Gomez is the second top kill leader on the team. Only 2 kills today and hitting below 0, but so many Panthers have stepped up, and they lead this match 1-0 and lead the second set now 11-6.
And there the set a bit low, coming over on the swing by Starks, and not able to get it over to get a touch by a Florida State player.
Sabrina Starks with 3 kills, a .333 hit percentage on the day. And the first ace of the day for Florida State comes from Angelia Droskovic.
And the transfer coming over from UMBC, who the Panthers played last season in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Droskovic played in that match, which was down at the Peterson Event Center, had 23 assists, 10 digs in that one for UMBC. Now takes on the Panthers again, wearing a different uniform. Things heating up here in the second set, but Florida State adds another point to make it 11-8, and they are finding some success behind the service of Droskovic, who has had an interesting journey throughout her career, starting out at Northeastern Junior College, then going to UMBC, made All-America East second team, and now to the ACC, where she's been one of Florida State's 2 primary setters, leading the team in assists on the year.
And what a get for this Florida State program, able to fill a hole that they needed in a big way.
Outstanding dig in the back by Perez. Dalton that time. Point Florida State.
And a beautiful attack there from Dalton, but not able to get the point, as we see what a play by Florida State to keep that ball alive. And then at the end, Dalton stepping over that white line. You see there that 10-foot line, stepping just over it. And as a back row attacker, you cannot do that.
Florida State now on a 4-0 run of their own, and that will come to an end as the Panthers make it 12-9.
A really great series of points there for Florida State, but again, ending on an unforced error, just touching that net on the play was Koenig, and point going over to the Panthers. Stops that 4-0 Florida State run.
Strong attack in the middle from Emily Ryan. Got up in the air, the 6'4" middle blocker.
Just picture perfect volleyball there. The good pass, the quick set, and then Ryan going behind her setter, Droskovic, to be able to get that one.
Ryan with 3 kills today. Panthers' lead has shrunk to now just 2 points in this second set, but they make it 3 there. Blocked by Juliana Dalton, but out of play. Point Florida State.
Jason, you could hear that one echo through this entire gym. That was full-on block from the Panthers, but Dalton just not able to turn that outside hand in, and that led the ball out of bounds for the Florida State point.
Still a good effort by Dalton. She has been everywhere throughout this second set, filling the stat sheet for the Panthers. 13-11, this serve coming from Emma Clothier for Florida State. That's an ace. Florida State cuts the lead to 1 behind Clothier's ace.
Take a look at this one. Asbrowski going over, and it just dropping right in front of her. Great job of that serve by Clothier, who's a player that Florida State really needs to get active here in this match.
She's a 2-time All-ACC first-team player for the Noles. Droskovic sets to the middle for Lewis, and it caught the back line. We've got a tied set.
We'll take a look at this one. In the middle there, just finding that back line.
Florida State has now scored 9 of the last 12 points in this set to even things up. And they'll add one more, 4 in a row for the Seminoles, who now take a 14-13 lead. That's going to force a Dan Fisher timeout for the second set, and Audrey Koenig has surged throughout this season for Florida State. Over 3 kills a set for the superb sophomore from Wesley Chapel, Florida. And what a gift she has been to this Florida State team through 2 seasons. Last year, Koenig had 262 kills on the year, which was a most by a Florida State freshman in 16 years.
And you saw that she had those 10 10-kill games in all of last season, and she already has 10 of those this season as the Panthers get a big, much-needed point to end that scoring run of Florida State. They really had 2 almost back-to-back scoring runs, which got them to the point of now being in a tie with the Panthers.
Yeah, don't forget, this was a set that the Panthers once led by a score of 10-4. Florida State, of course, going on a big run ever since. That time, the attack touched by the Panther front line, putting the Noles back on top. Koenig earning all ACC freshman honors for her performance a season ago. Still so much potential for her, just a sophomore, standing at 6'3" for this Florida State team. Vasquez Gomez, back row attack. Left side, Eakes tried to make of it what she could, but into the antenna. And the Panthers even it right back up at 15.
A really great battle here in this second set. And Jason, you talk about what the Noles were bringing back to their team this season. They were bringing back 76% of their kills and 80% of their blocks, and also bringing in one of the top freshmen in the country in Rothman, who unfortunately has been injured over the past number of weeks.
Yeah, Audrey Rothman was expected to be a stud freshman for Florida State. From Birmingham, Alabama, was the Gatorade Player of the Year a season ago, was a first-team All-American out of high school. But unfortunately, as you mentioned, Amanda has missed time as of late. Has only gotten to play in 10 matches on the season, but was the ACC Freshman of the Week in her first week as a collegiate player. And that's one of those players where Chris Poole said if they can get her back and some of the other pieces, they will be a dangerous team later this season.
Yeah, those puzzle pieces will start to fall into place, and they have 10 games left after this one in ACC play, so you never know what can happen and what they can show the committee that they bring.
Well, for now, the Noles working without Rothman and hanging around with Pitt in the second set. Panthers take the lead for now, but we've had 7 different tied scores so far in set number 2. As the Panthers regain that lead back, Chris Poole going to take a timeout. We talked so much about the number of weapons that the Panthers have. It's been no different today. Courtney Buzzerio leading the charge with 9, but 5 other players for Pittsburgh with at least 2 kills today, led by Sabrina Starks with 4, Chiamaka Wokala with 4, Juliana Dalton and Serena Gray have 3 apiece, and Valeria Vasquez Gomez with 2. And Amanda, that's been the story all season long.
It absolutely has. You see those 4 players averaging over 2 kills per set. You mentioned all of the ones that have over 2 kills throughout this match, and that hitting percentage for the Panthers good for 20th in Division I, and then also leading the ACC in assists. So that's something they do really well, is no matter which setter is in, whether it's Rachel Fairbanks, Cam Ennis, or Alexis Akeo, who we have yet to see in this set, in this match, all great setters in their own right, and they are able to show that and have that chemistry with their hitters to be able to get those assists.
It's a Pittsburgh group that is just so deep. As you mentioned, Amanda, Alexis Akeo, have yet to see her tonight, but she is a player who has accomplished so much in her Pitt career. And to think that in addition to Akeo, they have 2 really talented setters in Fairbanks and Ennis. So there's just so much depth that you have to find a way to combat if you're taking on the Panthers.
You never know who can produce. We talk about Courtney Buzzerio, who pretty much is consistently always producing. But after that, if you can't stop her, then okay, what other players do you stop? Do you try to stop Starks? Do you try to stop Wokalo, Dalton, Gray, Vasquez Gomez? Any of those players, there's too many players to try to stop. But Florida State, credit what they've done in this second set, have been able to be the aggressors and really trying to attack this Panthers team and put them on their heels.
Really close second set here. Panthers able to add to that lead, make it 18-16. Juliana Dalton has been efficient from the service line today as she gets her second ace.
And 5 total through these 2 sets so far for the Panthers.
Outside, Koenig. Well-placed ball. 5th kill of the match for Koenig.
Great job of Koenig going on the inside of the block. We'll see here Stark setting it up a little too far to the outside, and then Koenig having all of that space on the inside part of the net to be able to play with.
5 kills, 4 digs, 1 block for Audrey Koenig on the day. Ennis sets Valeria Vasquez Gomez, finds the corner.
What a beauty from Vasquez Gomez. That deep corner open, and Vasquez Gomez taking full advantage, going through that hole in the block. Emma Clothier late on that block, not able to get in position, and that left enough space for Vasquez Gomez to put that ball right in that deep corner.
And now in to serve for the first time today is Emmy Klicka for the Panthers, a libero. Dan Fisher mentioned that she is probably one of the most underrated players on his team. Said she is a very, very good libero, but just playing behind Ashley Browski for most of the season. But Klicka able to earn the Panthers a point on that serve, make it 20-17.
And that's what you need, those players that you can depend on in those clutch situations. Klicka coming in here in a tight spot with the serve, and then also having to play defense behind it.
So Panthers for now regaining control of this set, but Emma Clothier has something to say about that. Makes it 20-18. Knowles not going away.
And Droskovic back to serve again, who has been one of the best servers for this Florida State team today.
Serena Gray's attack blocked. Diving attempt to keep it up by Dalton. The Panthers keep the point alive. Blocked in the front row by Gray.
And even though Coach Fisher doesn't like the word, I'm going to call that a gritty play from the Panthers. Look at Dalton going all out, that 6'5" frame coming in handy, able to keep it alive, and then the big block right down off the hand of Serena Gray.
Such a talented unit the Panthers have on the floor at all times. Truly a team effort, and finished off by Gray. 3-point lead here at the end of the second set. Klicka, diving dig. Vasquez Gomez, this time the left corner.
And again, another one of those full team effort plays that we see from the Panthers. Klicka going with the diving save, getting it in just the right spot for Fairbanks to shoot it out there. And then Vasquez Gomez with the set a little bit off, just being so smart and hitting that roll shot to the deep corner.
Attack from Clothier, just to the outside of that right line. Panthers make it 23-18. Timeout taken by Chris Poole in Florida State. It was a set they thought they had a good chance to win, was tied at 16-16, but the Panthers have taken over here late due to a true group effort from a number of different weapons. Pittsburgh has won 38 straight matches against unranked ACC opponents in this building. The last time they lost to an unranked ACC team in the Fitz, you have to go all the way back to 2017. And under Dan Fisher, they have just been so dominant. Less than 5 losses in the conference in each of the last 5 seasons. No worse than a top 3 finish.
And starting off this season again strong with that 7-0 record in ACC play, looking to make it 8 here today.
Of course, Panthers made a trip to a Final Four a season ago as well, and they did receive their Final Four rings Friday night before the match against Miami, and Dan Fisher called that an experience the players will never forget, especially because he said a lot of those players that committed to Pitt at the start of their careers did not expect this to be a program that would ultimately reach the heights of Final Fours.
No, and they weren't those type of recruits where you said, okay, they're like a Rothman who comes in as a top 25 recruit in the entire country. As we take a look at some former Panthers, one there including Chinaza Ende. I'm sure she's taking a look at our broadcast to hear what we're saying on her phone there. or checking Twitter just to check everything that the Panthers have talked about. Another great Panther in Stephanie Williams amongst a few in that row of Panthers.
Yeah, Emily Horner, Jenna Potts, Hannah Markowitz, all in attendance. In addition to the ones you mentioned, Amanda, it is alumni weekend here at Pitt, and those alumni have been pleased to see Pitt's performance so far. They have a 1-0 match lead, and they lead this second set 24-18. They are on a 4-0 scoring run in this set, and they have really come alive here in this second set. Trying to top it off here off the service from Fairbanks. Perez sent it over for Florida State. Fairbanks sets Gray. And point goes to Pittsburgh. 25-18. The Panthers take set number 2 per usual on that front line for Pitt.
And you saw that hitting percentage for Florida State on this season. They're third best in the ACC, hitting at a 262 clip, so well below their season average and what they have shown in the ACC. And you have to credit the Panthers' defense for what they have been able to do against this Florida State offense.
So we resume here in Pittsburgh. 2-0 lead for the Panthers. Nice dig there by Emery Dupes, Florida State libero. So the Seminoles get out to a 1-0 lead. At the beginning of this third set, Courtney Buzzerio answers, and just like that, she has 10 kills in double digits once again for the Panthers.
And you knew that was going to happen here early in the third set, feeding the ball to Courtney Buzzerio, as she has 17 attempts now with those 10 kills, hitting at Jason Avery Pittsburgh 4-1-2 clip.
There you go. That's a solid day for Courtney Buzzerio. Serena Gray elevates and kills.
I think she wanted to make sure that we were mentioning her name in this match there, hitting that one with authority. The late block coming in from Florida State, and Serena Gray taking full advantage.
Dan Fisher said there aren't many middles in the country that can take over a game like Serena Gray. And she has done a little bit of that today here in Pittsburgh, with 5 kills and 6 blocks to her name on 444 hitting. 2-2 early in the third set. Audrey Koenig got the last kill. She's got 6 of them to lead Florida State on the day. Fairbanks sets Buzzerio.
And Jason, it's crazy to think, but Courtney Buzzerio gets better as a match goes on. I think she really is feeling out the other team, and then once you get into the second and third and potentially fourth sets behind that, she just gets even stronger as you see 12 straight matches with 10+ kills.
And Amanda, sometimes it's hard to think about the fact that this is her first season with Pitt, because she looks so comfortable playing with this team, fitting right in, having a great relationship with the setters, and she just looks so comfortable in the blue and gold.
She does, and it's exactly what the Panthers needed, as they lost a lot of offense from their team last season. So where was it going to come from? Why not just fill it with a 6'5" right side?
From Iowa, who was a former All-Big Ten player.
Exactly.
Dan Fisher did his work in the transfer portal this offseason, that's for sure. And has helped the Panthers to a 17-2 start to their year. And speaking of Buzzerio and her 11 kills, she serves now, has 2 aces as well on the day. Good attack on the right side. Corey Lewis came over.
And Lewis quietly now has 5 kills on the afternoon, Jason. Being one of those consistent hitters that this Florida State team needs. Those 5 kills on 8 attempts, hitting at a 375 clip. So an efficient afternoon for Corey Lewis today.
Lewis committed to Florida State when she was in 8th grade. Tallahassee is her hometown, so she said she wouldn't want to play anywhere else other than in the garnet and gold. But the Panthers earned that point. Kill by Chiamaka Wokolo. Makes it 5-4 Pitt. Dalton with a good serve, mishandled by Conley and Seminoles. Cam Ennis sets Vasquez Gomez. Nice touch. Wokolo blocked in the middle.
A rare miscue that we saw from the Panthers there. A low set to the outside by Cam Ennis, but Vasquez Gomez able to keep it alive, and then that left the spot open for Chiamaka Wokolo to put it down on the Florida State side.
Once again, Lewis. Really nice dig by Ennis. Starks touched it over. Now Pitchford. Outside, Conley found the hole. It looks like we'll see Lauren Burrows at the service line for the first time today for Florida State. Senior from Marietta, Georgia. Ennis, Vasquez Gomez into the tape.
I like the decision by Vasquez Gomez to try for that tight cut shot as the defense was playing a little bit further back on her, just not able to execute it. And now we have a tie ball game here in the third set.
And that serve looked like it was going to go long from Burrows, but grazed Ashley Browski in the back row. One more look here.
And one of those rare errors from the Panthers. Browski usually very sound defensively, just not able to get that one.
And Browski again making a tough dig off the serve. She hit the floor, but she's able to laugh it off as the Panthers get the point.
And Vasquez Gomez picking up her 5th kill of the afternoon, not hitting at the efficiency that we have seen over her past few games, just right over that 0 mark, but coming in clutch for the Panthers there.
Vasquez Gomez, nice defensive play by Pitchford for Florida State. They try Vasquez Gomez again, that time it works.
And try again for Valeria Vasquez Gomez to get the ball to go through that Florida State block.
28 attack attempts for Vasquez Gomez on the day. That's more than any player in the match. 6 kills, only hitting at a 71 clip. But as you said, Amanda, keep trying her, and Vasquez Gomez will certainly convert. That time blocked. Corey Lewis and Sky Eakes.
A great double block there. I think trying to go out to Vasquez Gomez on too many occasions in a row, that led to the easy setup for the block with Eakes and Corey Lewis.
Ennis, Vasquez Gomez blocked again. That time Eakes was joined by Emma Clothier. Noles take the lead. Despite a 2-0 Pitt lead in the match, all 3 sets, Amanda, have been close midway through.
And it's been those unforced errors for Florida State, and they went on a couple of runs in each of the sets, just not able to finish them off.
Gregg gets high in the air on that attack. Florida State able to defend it. Clothier from the middle gets the Florida State point.
Take a look at this one here, going up against the single block of Serena Gray. A touch called on that one.
Service error from Emery Dupes. Makes it 10-9. Noles in the lead in set number 3. Pittsburgh with 8 straight wins in this series against Florida State. Have to go back to 2016 for the last time the Noles were able to win against Pitt. It's been a dominant run for Dan Fisher and company. Buzzerio taps it over, gets the point.
Courtney Buzzerio says, "I'll take this second ball and just put it down. We don't even need a third touch on that one."
12 kills for Buzzerio. Grad student, transfer from Iowa from Chino Hills, California. Right side attack from Clothier.
Just putting that ball down on an open spot on the Panthers court. Juliana Dalton seemed to be there, just not able to get her arms out for that pass attempt.
Clothier with 7 kills, matches the 7 that she got Friday at Virginia. Vasquez Gomez with some power on that one for the Panthers to even the score.
Vasquez Gomez got up on that attempt. Beautiful set there, and then just going through the small hole in the block of Florida State and taking advantage. Now 7 kills for Vasquez Gomez.
What an incredible journey for her throughout her collegiate career. Redshirted her first season and is now second on the team in kills per set. Has been such a huge part of Pitt's success, including in that Final Four run a season ago. Fairbanks back sets Buzzerio. Got it.
Great sequence there from the Panthers. Good defense. Vasquez Gomez with a nice pass. Fairbanks able to get it up. And there, Ryan too late on the double block attempt, leaving a lot of space for Courtney Buzzerio, and she sure knows what to do when she has open space.
It's the 12th straight match with double-digit kills for Courtney Buzzerio. But that time, nice job in the middle by Koenig to get the point for Florida State.
Koenig and Clothier really becoming the 1-2 duo that Florida State needs here today, each having 7 kills.
12-12 third set. Service error as it was long from Audrey Koenig. That's the 3rd error from the service line for Florida State today.
Those are the plays so tough for Coach Poole that you see there as your team is battling here with the number 8 team in the country. Again, those unforced errors just hitting at critical times.
This is Dylan Griffin into the match for the first time today. Freshman from California. Buzzerio digs. Fairbanks to Dalton. Now to Conley for FSU. Got the point.
Great dig there on the outside from Conley. So Conley getting the pass and then able to get out for the attack and putting it away. (13-13) in this third set. We've seen 11 ties, 5 lead changes here in set 3. Fairbanks back sets to Buzzerio. Emily Ryan keeps it in play. Fairbanks, Juliana Dalton. Well defended by the Noles. They watch it go out. They take the lead. 14-13, Florida State trying to hang alive and take down the Panthers here in the 5th. 6 lead changes already in set 3. We're only about halfway through. So despite a 2-0 Pitt lead in the match, Florida State has really battled all day. They have, and it's really come to fruition here in this third set. It's kind of been evolving as the match has gone on, and they really have come on strong with what they've been able to do. But whenever you need a rally killer, Courtney Buzzerio is there for you.
Yeah, look no further, right? Courtney Buzzerio with her 14th kill in this match on 500 hitting. Doesn't get much better.
And don't forget the 4 blocks, 2 aces, and 2 digs. Make that 3.
What a performance by Buzzerio, and what a weekend for her. Had 12 kills Friday against Miami on 370 hitting. Pair of aces in that match, now 3 aces in this match. Cannot emphasize enough the addition she has been in the offseason for Pitt going into this year. Block in the middle, Sabrina Starks.
And that was a pretty one. Koenig just trying to keep the ball alive as another tough serve comes from from Buzzerio, and then Starks there in the front row saying, nope, that ball won't come over on my side today.
So 16-14 Pitt. They've scored the last 3 points in this third set. And we showed you the ACC standings earlier. We'll take you through some of the current scores around the conference. Clemson and Duke, 1 set apiece, as is the case for Boston College, NC State, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and Miami, Virginia. Louisville taking care of business against Wake Forest. And Amanda just gets you more and more excited as Louisville and Pitt keep winning matches for that match next Sunday right here in the Fitz.
It does. It's going to be a phenomenal matchup next weekend. But you look at the battles between all of the other teams in the ACC, and that's what we've talked about all season long. Any team on any given day can beat you. And all of these teams have the type of talent to be able to do that. So you have to come with your best every day, no matter who the opponent is going to be on the other side now that we're in full ACC mode.
16-14 lead for Pitt here in the third set. Of course, only one more match for the Panthers before that match against Louisville on Sunday, and that'll be on Friday night here in the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse as they take on Notre Dame.
I'll be back for that game as well.
And if the Panthers take care of business against the Irish and here today, of course, they will enter against Louisville with a 19-2 record. They will certainly be a top 10 team in the country. We expect the same for the Cardinals. And out of the timeout, Amanda, it seems like all day, right as we talk about Florida State battling, the Panthers are able to find a little run in the middle of the set that allows them to break things open.
And the key for me right now will be how Florida State comes out of this. So they are only down 2 at this point. The Panthers went on a run, but they were down a couple of points at the time. So now, what does Florida State do? Down 2-0, down 2 points right now. The Panthers inching closer to that 3-set victory.
17-15, the Pitt lead. Serve from Pitchford. Tough receive by Browski, finds Ennis, and now over to Starks. Long.
And there it is. The tough serve from Pitchford leads to an error on the side of the Panthers.
Ava Pitchford, 12 assists on her day with 3 digs. Vasquez Gomez with some force from the back.
And that swing really had some power behind it. A great setup going over her head behind to Vasquez Gomez while running away from it was Cam Ennis.
Amanda, you talked in the open about the versatility of Vasquez Gomez and how she can earn kills in so many different ways. She has displayed that all afternoon.
But Florida State still able to hang tough, pick up the point, and still just down 1.
It'll be Lauren Burrows to serve. She gave the Panthers some troubles in serve receive the last time she was at the service line. Can she do it again? Knowles down by 1 point in the third set. That time it was long. Ashley Browski knew from the last time that that one was going over her shoulder.
Still a little scary though for Browski. She sure gets awfully close to that ball, as we saw there. And now the Panthers will come in with a service substitute of their own in the junior Kat Flood.
What is it about that serve from Burrows that's so tough to track?
It's interesting because she has a standing serve, so I think it just has so much power behind it and is more of a float serve. So when you think your arms are in the right position, the ball just kind of floats to the other side.
Well, it was too deep that time from Burrows, so 19-17 Pitt. Panthers are 6 points away from their 11th straight win, and now 20-17.
Sky Eakes hitting that one right into the net. The sophomore not able to do anything with that set.
So a timeout taken by Florida State. Panthers are 5 points away from a win. Valeria Vasquez Gomez has really started to turn it on here in set 3 with 8 kills on the match.
And we talked about it. She's not quite hitting with the efficiency that she has over the past few weekends of play, but when the Panthers have needed a kill, she has given it to them. And it's been up against a tough block of Florida State, but she's been able to find some holes and really just find her power and rhythm to be able to go through that Florida State block. Has 8 kills, but to go along with it, 6 errors. So not, like we said, what she wants to do in the efficiency category, but she also has 2 digs and a block to go up with what she has done today. And you see what she's done over her past 3 matches, 2 double-doubles in those last 3.
And last season, Vasquez Gomez averaging just over 1 kill a set. But Amanda, as we've talked about, you lose Kayla Lund, you lose Chinaza Ende, you lose Lekator Member-Mene. That's a lot of kills to make up for. And
yeah,
Valeria
just about
Vasquez
9%.
Gomez slid right in.
Yeah, and that's what you needed. Like I mentioned earlier, you lose all of those players, which means that you lose 9 kills per set. And you see Chinaza Ende there, one of the best Panthers that I've ever seen and that has come through this program. But that's a lot, 9 kills per set. I mean, the set should only go to 25. So that's a lot of points to lose per set, and the Panthers have been able to fill it with a player like Vasquez Gomez, who has come up through this Panthers program, and then you bring in the transfer in Courtney Buzzerio and the transfer from a season ago of Serena Gray. You bring in all those players, and it just seems to mesh so well for Coach Dan Fisher.
Also speaks to the depth that Dan Fisher establishes on his teams. If Valeria Vasquez Gomez just waiting as maybe the 4th or 5th option on last year's group, we have seen what she can do this year, and it's been tremendously impressive. But Florida State gets the first point out of the TO to make it 20-18.
And they needed it. You can't let the Panthers get too far ahead. Now just 5 points away from taking this 3rd set and then in turn taking the match. So coming out of the timeout, a big point for Florida State.
And it's back set. Sabrina Starks, Panther point.
I love what I've seen from Sabrina Starks today, coming in as kind of one of those role players. Now 6 kills, and you see here, just coming in off that right side, catching the blockers, having to wait to see where that ball goes. So credit Cam Ennis for spreading the ball around and then leaving space for Sabrina Starks to get that kill.
6 kills for Starks. That's the most she has had in an ACC match in October this season. Again, just a testament to the fact that you never know who on this Pitt roster is going to step up at any given moment.
And you have to credit the players themselves, Jason. When their number's called, they themselves have been stepping up and being the performer that this team needs.
It's 21-19 Pitt. We're in the 3rd set. Panthers lead 2-0. Outside, Vasquez Gomez. Florida State defends it well.
And now just a 1-point lead. Droskovic, who has given the Panthers some trouble coming back to serve.
So timeout taken by the Pitt Panthers. They lead 21-20. But of course, Dan Fisher and company trying to get this thing done in 3 sets. And if they can, it will have been a perfect weekend for Pitt. They swept Miami on Friday night.
And Jason, if they could do that, that's against 2 teams that are coming off of NCAA tournament appearances. So the record at the moment might not show the type of team that Miami and Florida State are, but they made the NCAA tournament last season, and not only made it, but they both won their 1st-round matches. So these are teams that bring back a lot of those players, like we've talked about the injury-plagued season that Florida State has had, but they are successful programs that know how to win, and the Panthers are coming in and really showing them the type of volleyball team that they are, that it has been and are this season.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Florida State lost in the 2nd round to the team that went on to win the whole thing in Wisconsin. And so we talked so much about Pitt and Louisville and Georgia Tech as the top teams in the ACC that you almost forget that these are quality wins the Panthers are notching on their resume here in mid-October.
And that's why we showed a few moments ago why the Panthers sit at number 5 in the RPI, which is a big factor in where that would put them in the NCAA tournament. Maybe, again, having the chance to host, which has happened over the past couple of seasons.
Pitt leads this match 2-0. It's 21-20 in the third set, Panthers. Courtney Buzzerio gets the kill, and for Buzzerio, her 15th of the day. 22-20 Pitt.
You can't really say more about Buzzerio, as again, just so smart, seeing the hands of the blockers right in front of her, really far out beyond the pin, and just such a great play.
Vasquez Gomez, the serve. Blocked up front by the Panthers. Serena Gray makes it 23-20. Pittsburgh finding its rhythm. Late in set 3, looking for their second sweep of the weekend. Fairbanks back sets Courtney Buzzerio. Popped up by Fairbanks. Buzzerio once again blocked by Florida State's Honig.
Great job of Florida State there, staying disciplined, seeing the hitters in front of them, and getting themselves in the right position to put that ball down on the Panthers side.
23-21 Pitt in the third set. Panthers lead the match 2-0. Buzzerio from the right side. Dupes over to the right for Clothier, make it 23-22.
Florida State really stepping on the gas here in these last couple of points, being very aggressive, which is great to see.
Koenig serve to the right of the line. Service error gives Pitt match point. Panthers are 1 point away from an 11th consecutive victory. Serena Gray at the service line with 1 ace to her name already on the match. Vasquez Gomez, the dig. Fairbanks back sets. Courtney Buzzerio tops it off for the Panthers. A 16-kill day for Buzzerio and 11 straight wins for Pittsburgh.
And 8 straight ACC wins. The Panthers dominate the state of Florida here this weekend, picking up the win against Miami and a big win against the quality Florida State team here today, Jason.
So for Amanda Sile, producer Ryan Marzak, director Jack Reynolds, and the rest of our tremendous ACC Network crew, I'm Jason Earl saying so long from Pittsburgh, where the final score is Pitt 3 sets, Florida State none. To watch this entire game on replay and other games on the ACC Network, you can download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.